Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Lydia. If you're new, what's up? If you're returning, welcome back. Today's video is going to be a mid-renovation Q&A. If you're new around here, let me catch you up. I'm Lydia, I'm 28 years old and I bought my first home in August 2020. It's a 2-bed end of terrace house and it cost me £249,000. I also put down a deposit of 70,000 British pounds. Did you hear that? I put down a deposit of £70,000, which is a lot higher than usual, okay? The reason why my deposit is a lot larger than usual is because I purchased the house all by myself as a single self-employed woman, and at that point I had less than 1 year's worth of accounts. Whew. And I did that. She did that for real. So that's me, that's the stats in the house, and at the moment I am currently renovating. It is a full house renovation. Everything is being changed apart from the internal doors, the windows, and the external doors. I'm looking to change those ASAP. Before we get into it, I'm gonna preempt with a little disclaimer to say that this video is based on my experience and my sole experience only. I can't speak about anybody else's house, anybody else's quotes. I can just sit here and tell you what I have personally gone through, and that is all this video is going to be. So question number one, what has your highest expense been so far? So in terms of prices and the things that have been most expensive so far, those can be categorized into two different sections. One is going to be labor costs, so that's the cost of actually doing the work, and then secondly is materials. That's the cost of products, cost of purchasing things. So my labor costs have been the highest cost of the whole entire renovation, and that is paying the builders to come on site to do the work, to tear apart the whole house and literally put it all back together. And for that, for the labor in itself, excluding any materials, that cost me £20,730 for the labor alone. And then the highest product or highest material that I actually paid for was my kitchen. My kitchen cost me £13,284 and 16 pence. The other day on my home Instagram, I had asked you guys to tell me how much you think my kitchen costs, and it was very interesting to see what people thought. It was anywhere between 5k to 35k. Obviously that's a very, very big jump, but kitchens can cost whatever. It's really up to you on what you decide to put in your kitchen. My kitchen's got like underlights, it's got this, it's got that, and it's got all these different shiny things. How did you decide on how much you needed for the renovation, and how long did it take you to save? I'm gonna be completely honest and tell you guys that I did not know how much to save for renovation. I didn't even know how much renovations costs. So for me, I was kind of just saving as much as I could, hoping for the best, which doesn't sound great, but it's the honest truth. I had never taken a project like this on before. I don't know how much building supplies costs. I didn't know. All I know is that I had been saving from the minute I was able to clear my overdraft. I had been saving, and I kind of wished I had a better plan, like a more smarter money mindset type of plan of saving, because I think maybe I could have got to my goal faster, or maybe I would have been a bit more clear on exactly what I needed. And that is why I want to thank the sponsors of this video today, who are Claro. Claro is a startup in the UK who are developing a digital financial coach and community that aims to empower you into making smarter financial decisions every single day. I would have absolutely loved to have access to Claro at the beginning stages of my house saving process, because having access to one of their financial coaches would have really helped me make a more informed decision about my finances at the time. I am always stressing the importance of financial literacy, and this is the perfect way to get a smarter money mindset, which is something that I encourage for all of us. To this day, I get so many questions on how I save for my deposit, and I know that there's quite a few of you guys who are also on that same journey. Claro is great for anyone in that situation, as the app will partner you with a real human financial coach to help you make a financial plan and stick to it. And so even if you're not saving for that big house deposit, I know that we all have our own individual goals. Claro can support you on how to save and change your current spending habits so you can actually reach your goal by a certain date. So whether you're saving for an emergency fund, a holiday, or that big house deposit, Claro has got you covered. You guys already know I love when things are simplified and easy to understand. That's another thing that I love about Claro. The app offers helpful articles, videos, and even jargon busters to help normal people like you and me understand financial terms, which would otherwise just not understand. I wouldn't, I know I wouldn't. The minute this launches, I'm putting my sister on, because we've got some big plans for her. For her next move It's gonna be big. If you're in the UK and also interested, you can sign up and join the waiting list for free via the link in my description box. Please be sure to check out the link for more information about Claro and to be one of the first ones to know when it launches. And finally, a big shout out to Claro, who are protecting 25 trees for each person that signs up onto the waiting list. Why did you choose the renovation route rather than putting money down towards a finished house? So the main reason why I went for a fixer-upper house was simply because of the budget. I had a maximum budget of £250,000. And the thing is, I could have gone a little bit higher. I remember even putting down an offer on a house that was close to 300k. And as much as I could have stretched and actually still been able to pay it, it would have left me in a very tight position. At the moment, my mortgage payments are so easy to manage versus paying more to get a more expensive property, which would have looked more to the standard of what I was looking for. That would have cost me a lot more money and my mortgage payments would have been a lot more. And to me, I want to be comfortable. I want to be in a place where I don't have to worry about my mortgage. It's something that can be paid and will be paid for the foreseeable future without stress, because I don't want to be in a house that I can't afford. That's the worst thing for me. So I'd rather have a house that I can build to my exact standards with my own budget in mind. So yeah, it made more sense for me to go down that route. And of course, I genuinely love DIY. Like any DIY home reno shows, changing up the house, tear it apart, I love it. And so for me, getting a chance to renovate my own house is low-key a dream come true. So I'm not looking at it as, oh my God, what a big mess that you have to go through. I'm actually excited because I get to customize the house to look exactly as I want. Do you know how amazing that feels to decide everything about your house, from the ceiling down to the sockets to anything and everything is down to your personal taste? What has been your biggest regret and hurdle? My biggest regret is pretty random, but it's the cost of my worktop. I didn't know that you could literally purchase the whole kitchen and then go and get your worktop custom made somewhere else. That usually works out cheaper. If I knew, I would have just taken some time to search and I would have definitely got my kitchen counter for a lot cheaper. My biggest hurdle so far, I think, is very clear and obvious to anyone who's been following the renovation series. It's my wall. The removal of that wall has it delayed everything. So I bought the house in August 2020 and I wasn't able to start working on it until January 2021 because all that time between August and January, we were just trying to sort out the paperwork for the Party Wall Award. If you want to know all about the Party Wall Award, go and follow my home Instagram. There's a whole series of posts from the very beginning to the end when we got the wall taken down. But definitely removing the wall, costly and also very, very stressful and a big burden, and I wish I didn't have to do that. Are things going to the speed that you planned? Surprisingly, things are going to plan. Tyrone had budgeted 5 weeks for this whole entire renovation, which when I initially heard, I was like, are you sure? Like 5 weeks to change the whole entire house? But he is exactly where he said he would be. However, the renovation should be finished at the end of week 5, but it won't be because some of the things haven't been delivered for my bathroom, and that's because I guess, you know, we're in a panoramic. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and so stocks run out and it's really hard to try and get things restocked quickly enough. And also with Brexit happening, there's so much happening outside of me that unfortunately we won't be able to finish at the end of week 5. We'll have to wait until my bathroom products come, and then Tyrone will probably have to come in for another 2-3 days, and then it should all be done. To summarize that, Tyrone has done exactly what he said he would in the time scale that he said he would do it. If it wasn't for the bathroom bits literally missing in delivery, this house would have been completely finished within 5 weeks. Tips on finding a builder that you can trust. This is something that I was so petrified of at the start of the renovation, picking a builder. I was genuinely terrified. I've watched one too many TV shows of dodgy builders, cowboy builders who come and do half shoddy jobs, or they do some work and then suddenly like 6 months later, everything falls down. God forbid, bad thing. Like I was shook to pick a builder. But one thing I knew is that I had to interview quite a few of them. I actually interviewed 3 different builders, and of the 3, there was just two really that I was most interested in. I was explaining this on my Instagram live the other day on my home account, that the reason why I went for Tyrone and his team is because he literally took time to explain things simply. Like, I love things simplified. I don't understand the builder talk. I felt like for me it was important to be working with a team who they actually explain things very simply that I could understand. Then that way I don't feel like I'm being had, and I don't feel like I'm paying for things that I don't know what they're going towards. So Tyrone's category of work was just spectacular. Like, he showed me so much work that he had done from previous properties and literally gave me the option to even call them so that I could reference any of them. It wasn't like, oh, you can only call these people because I did a good job. He was like, call any of them. I said, wow, okay, this is someone who is confident in the work that he's doing. And you can just see the quality of Tyrone's work. Right now he has a brand new website, which, oh, I love it. By the way, just to be very clear, I am paying Tyrone every single penny. Tyrone and I have no influencer deal. I don't have to talk about Tyrone at all. I choose to because you see the standard of his work. You see the precision. You see how clean, how considered and thought out everything is. To me, that's a black-owned business that deserves a shout out. Tip number 3, I would also be very wary of any builder who you see who gives you a quote for something straight away without further investigation. So for example, I had one set of builders who came round, he took one look at my fuse box and he said, you need a whole entire rewiring. A full house rewire by simply looking with his bare eyes. He didn't even have spectacles. Rewiring a house is like 5 to 7K. Tyrone came round and I noticed that he hadn't said about the rewiring, and he told me, you can't trust anyone who tells you by looking at something that you need to rewire it. There's not been an electrical test that's been taken. Like, for you to understand what situation your electrics are in, whether you need to rewire the house or not, you need to conduct an electrical test, which will then inform you. Whereas some people will just say something random and you just think, oh my God, I need to do that because the builder said I need to do it, but you might not need to spend that extra 5 to 7K. Guys, I nearly rewired my whole house if I went for one set of builders. How often have you changed your vision? Having an interior designer has really helped me out. It's definitely a luxury, but it's something that I am so happy I have because I don't know how to put things together. I know what I like, but I don't know how to put them together in a way that makes sense. Shout out to my interior designer, Aurelie Chamo. Like, she is the best. Working with Aurelie, she's created me these wonderful 3D renders of my house based on the dimensions of my actual house. So we have a very clear vision of what we're going for, and we can even show it to the builders and be like, this is exactly what I want you to make. So my vision has been very clear from the start, but if I didn't have an interior designer, I don't know if I could say the same thing, to be completely honest. I'm gonna leave Aurelie's details in the description box for you guys to check out too. Do you have any plans for the garden or house exterior? Yes, I've definitely got plans for the garden. Summertime, when the weather's a bit better, Tyrone's gonna come back and we're gonna build an outhouse at the back so that I have like a small studio space to do my work. Another thing that I would love to change, given time, money, and resources, is my doors, okay? My front door and my back door currently are made of this kind of PVC material, and if it's down to my personal choice, it's gonna be like a big, heavy, wooden, colored door. I might even have a pink door. Like, that's really where I want to go. I might paint my back door pink or something a bit unique. Yeah, eventually I'd love to change those, and the windows too, but changing windows is such an expensive thing to do. Like, when we first walked into the house, I was like, I'm gonna change this, 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 and this. Oh, and I'm getting new windows. The minute I got like a rough quote for how much windows cost, I looked at my windows and I said, those windows are perfect. They're literally perfect. They block the cold. I can see out of them. It's perfect. It does what it needs to do. How have you managed your time between project and personal life? Good question. I've struggled. It's really hard. Like, guys, trying to manage a house renovation and trying to like maintain personal life, trying to maintain work-life balance, it's really, really hard. And to be honest, what's helped is just having very understanding people in all factors of my life. Like, my parents are very understanding when I'm not calling home as often. My partner is very understanding when I'm like not around, I'm not as present in the evenings, I'm more busy. Having people who are understanding around me has just made the process a little bit easier. But It's not easy at all. Kind of like how the sun keeps coming in and ruining this video. It's not easy. Did you have to get a loan to cover the renovation costs on top of your mortgage? Nope, nope, nope. I did not get any loans whatsoever. All the money that I'm using to renovate the house is all my hard-earned cash. Okay, and you need the money because I pay my builders per week. Okay, so at the end of every single week, I pay Tyrone a minimum of £4,000, which is a lot of money to leave your account. For me, I'm pretty fortunate to be in a position where I had saved enough money for the renovation as well as the deposit, as well as some money to actually pay for the mortgage moving forward, you know, because you gotta have your payments set. Otherwise, they will take the house. We shall repossess the house. God forbid such bad things. How long are you planning on staying in your place before you move on? Now, this is a good question because, yeah, the answer should be a lot more than what it actually is, but it's my house, it's my life. I know what I want to do. So ideally, the next 2 to like 4 years possibly. And that's strange to say. You're probably thinking, girl, why would you spend all that much money if you're not planning on staying in this house forever? The thing is, this was never meant to be my forever home, ever, at all. This is an amazing dream accomplished, guys. Don't get me wrong, amazing dream accomplished, which is why I am loving every single second of changing it and making it my own. And I know that if this was like a property that I was going to rent straight away, maybe I wouldn't have invested as much as I did into it, changing all these different things. Like I would have just done a very quick cheap job, but it's my house and I want to feel extremely comfortable in it, and I want to feel like everything is designed for me. Like, you know, to be honest, I just have a lot of plans for the future, and God willing my plans go as I hope, then this is just the beginning of some amazing adventures ahead. But I'm not selling the house at all. The house is always going to remain in my name. The house is not going anywhere anytime soon. So even if I don't live in the house, my sister will probably be living in the house. So, or if she's not living in the house, some very lucky tenants will be living in the house. Yeah, I personally don't see myself staying in the house forever. This is not my forever home. My forever home, if you think this is me going OTT, did you take the ceiling price of your area in account when you set out your budget? I want to keep it all the way real 100 with you guys. Like, up until 3 days ago, I didn't know anything about a ceiling cap for renovations. Like, if I read this question 3 days ago, I wouldn't have known what the hell you're talking about. Apparently, you should not be spending any more than 10% of the property price on renovations. I literally only just found this out. But to me, I don't know, that's like as a very general thing to say, and it might be right generally speaking, but it's very dependent on each project. Like, each house is extremely different. So to say 10% is such an arbitrary number. So for example, my house, it could have cost me far less if I didn't remove that partitioning wall, because I wouldn't have added all the costs of the party wall, award, and the structural engineer and the steel beam. But I feel like the house is improved now that it's an open space. So who's to say that the cost of taking down the wall won't actually be added back in the value of the house later on if it's a much more seamless finish and it's a much more functional house that makes sense for a family. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But no, I didn't have like a ceiling cap. Obviously I knew that I didn't want to spend too much money, but again, as I was saying before, I didn't know how much renovations were going to cost. I didn't. Though I will say that I definitely considered the price of my property and the budget that I had put together, right, for the renovations, and I'd kind of started searching around the area to see houses that are worth that much and if my house would be of that same caliber. And to be honest, guys, it's the same, if not a little bit better, or if not on the mark, you know? So obviously I'm gonna say a little bit better because it's my house and it's got pink terrazzo tiles in the bathroom. Like, why would it not be the best? But it's more or less the same price. However, as I've said before, I'm not planning on selling the house anytime soon. What are your tips for someone who's at the beginning of the renovation? One top tip. I really wish I did this at the start of my renovation, and it's the simplest thing ever. I wish I had got somebody who knew what they were doing to come and take proper measurements of the house. It sounds silly to say, but me trying to measure the house and make a floor plan just wasn't very successful. Like, it's brought a lot of problems, especially in regards to the bathroom order. I ordered everything practically all wrong because my measurements were off in the beginning. Get the square meterage of every single room so that when you're ordering your floor, you already have that. When you're ordering your skirting board, you already have that. When you're trying to decide how many towels you need in your bathroom, you already know what the square foot of everything is. Like, it's so important because those measurements are literally what you're gonna use moving forward, even down to when you're buying your sofa. If your measurements of your lounge aren't right, you're gonna end up with a sofa that's too big, too small, too whatever, too wrong. As silly and small as it sounds, it can definitely cost you a lot of money if you don't do it right the first time round. You end up ordering everything all wrong. And trust me, things are not cheap. One last question, when do you hope to be done by? This is the question that everybody asks me all the time. I hope to be completely done with the house, as in renovations wise, not decor, definitely by the end of February. If I'm seeing Tyrone in my house in Feb, he's gotta move out. He's gotta go into his own house at this point. Like, by the end of Feb, I don't want no builders in my house at all. I wanna be living in the house. Whether I have a sofa or not, or a bed or not is a different scenario. But I want out, everybody out, get out, pack your equipment, pack your load, be going. Though I am absolutely gonna miss the boys. Like, I don't know, I'm gonna have to bring them in for like DIYs every weekend because they are such vibes. You guys watch the vlogs, you already know. I have such a good time with them. And in fact, I am on my way now to go and see my flooring getting fitted. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video today. If it was useful, please let me know in the comments. Let me know what other video you want to see from me. For me, it's all about being open, being transparent, and sharing what I can so that it can make maybe your journey a little bit easier. Because what's the point in doing something if you're not going to be able to share and make somebody else's journey a little bit smoother, you know? Even if it's just me telling you to measure your house. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to thumbs it up and subscribe, and follow me on my home Instagram over at Lydia Dinga Home, and I shall see you guys in my next video. See you guys soon.